Welcome to Project Inner Leadership, where women build and become. This is the podcast for ambitious women in business who are building, leading, and achieving, and who know they are meant for more. Here, we don't just talk about strategy, we talk about consciousness, self-leadership, emotional mastery. Because the business you build will never outgrow the woman you become. If you're ready to expand beyond your current limits, to dissolve inner resistance, and to manifest a business and a life that truly reflects your deepest vision, then you're here in the right place. This is about thinking beyond what feels realistic, building a business without burning out, leading beyond fear, and creating from clarity instead of pressure. I'm Christina, and this is Project Inner Leadership. Hello, everyone, and I welcome you to my new podcast episode. I am so glad you are here with me today. I really hope you're feeling as good as I do. And I really hope my audio quality is good and you don't hear my background because my office is right next to our kitchen and my husband is cooking something and it's like he's throwing the pans on the wall because it's so loud. So I try my best that the audio quality is good and you don't hear any background noise. Yeah, so let's get started. I would like to talk about something today, which maybe I have already talked about in one of my last podcast episodes, but I don't quite remember anymore. But you will understand if you listen to my podcast, you will understand what the main topic is about. Because my goal is really to help people to step into their own power. Because honestly, we are truly creators. We are such beautiful creators, and we have been given such a great power to create exactly the life we want. And I have to tell you a quick story before we get started. It was a few days ago, I started to feel a blocking inside of me. I felt some anxiety coming up, and also we had some changes in my business, and I was feeling a little bit down. And then I used my technique, which I always use when I feel like something is not in the flow in my life. And I just stepped into this power again. And I looked inside of me. I played around with my feelings. And honestly, the energy started to flow again. And it was straight away this morning. I woke up and I made a sale of 24K. Honestly, I really want that everybody experiences this. Everybody looks deeper and not only scratches the surface with manifestation and meditation and all these tools that are out there, but really stepping into their power, really understand what's going on inside of them and not fighting themselves anymore. Because with this manifestation, also we have to be super careful. I mean, it works perfectly. Yeah, it really works. But not only when you scratch the surface, you really have to dig deep into yourself and make the change from the inside out. And I am at the moment planning to release a coaching. And I have to tell you that I never wanted to offer a coaching again because I was offering a coaching. It was 6 or 7 years ago. I was coaching people with eating issues like binge eating, emotional eating, weight gain, and some other sort of eating disorders. But I totally grew out of that. I was not feeling anymore giving one-to-one coaching sessions because I I don't know, I didn't feel it anymore. And I actually thought when I start Project Inner Leadership, it's more of a hobby for me. And I thought, okay, I would love to offer some inner circle where, yeah, we could meet, we could talk, I could show you the technique that really helped me to change my life. And it's so simple, and it's the only technique you really ever need in your life. You don't need any other technique anymore. It's not difficult. You don't need to have any requirements, any knowledge, really nothing. And it's so super easy, and it's so easy to do it in your day-to-day life. You don't have to buy expensive courses or anything else. Like, you literally don't need anything else for the rest of your life if you train this method. And your life becomes super easy, your life becomes super fulfilled, and the energy flows again. Your life flows again. Your relationships, your money, your business, your health, everything. That, of course, doesn't mean you will never have challenges in your life again and you never have worries again. Of course, challenges and worries are still coming up because that's life. We are human. But it's about how you're gonna deal with it. And you're gonna deal with it in an easy way, in a way that suddenly shows you solutions and opportunities which you wouldn't have seen before. And that's the beauty of this work. So I am planning at the moment to offer, I don't know when, I really don't know, a coaching again to teach this technique, because somehow I need to bring this technique out and bring it to the people, because I have learned this myself from other people in Germany. And I honestly want this everybody, every woman, every man on this earth to know about it and to live that, because it will bring them out of their victim state and becoming the real master of their life. I really don't know yet when I'm going to offer that. I have zero plan because, as I've mentioned, I build my businesses, I build everything from intuition and from my feeling, because I'm so in tune with myself. I don't have any strategies. I make 200K a month without any strategies. Yeah. And I want other people to also understand this and to live this, that they have everything they need inside of them. Now let's get back to the topic. I want that we're gonna look deep into ourselves. If you are someone that has already a business, that wants to build business, or that just simply want to change their life, but it hasn't worked out yet, you couldn't change your life until now because of whatever reason. Maybe you have tried already techniques, maybe you really, really, really work on yourself, but still you fall back into old patterns and still nothing changes. So the topic is why unprocessed trauma can block the life you want to create. There is something about manifestation that is often misunderstood, something that goes far beyond mindset, strategy, or even intention. Because sometimes the reason you're not living the life you truly want, the reason you feel stuck, even though you really know what you desire, has very little to do with what you are doing on the surface, and everything to do what is still unresolved within you. When you decide to create a new life for yourself, when you begin to consciously manifest something different, you're always doing one thing. You're choosing to leave your comfort zone, and you're choosing to step out of what feels safe and familiar, even if it no longer fulfills you, and move toward something unknown, something new, but something uncertain. Because you're stepping into a new area which you have never stepped into before, and you just simply don't know what's going to come next. And this is where the real journey begins, because the moment you make that decision, something inside of you starts to respond. You begin to receive impulses from the inside, sometimes subtle, sometimes quiet, other times clear and undeniable. But these are intuitive nudges, small movements within you that guide you toward the life you are meant to create. It might look like this. You wake up one day with a deep inner knowing that your current job no longer aligns with you, who you are. You feel it clearly that this is not what you want anymore. And at the same time, there is this desire rising within you to build something of your own business, to help others, to earn more money, to have more freedom and more time for your family and your children. And then suddenly, a few days later, something shifts. You suddenly feel the urge to reach out to someone who has already built what you want to create. Or maybe you meet a person that is already there where you want to be. So, someone who is already living the life you want to live. Yeah, we call it coincidence, but I personally, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in that we are the creator of our life. And if we inside of ourselves make one decision, so it means we cut the old away and we start something new. Then your life shows you ways, it shows you opportunities which will lead you to where you want to be. So these moments, which we call a coincidence, are in fact a guide. They're a path revealing itself step by step. And yet, this is exactly where so many people stop. Not because the path isn't there and not because they don't want it enough, but because something inside of them holds them back. It doesn't show up as a loud, no, 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 don't step out of your comfort zone. Don't do this, don't do that. It's much more subtle than that. It's a hesitation, a tightness in your body, a feeling of discomfort that you can't fully explain. And often this is where unprocessed trauma begins to influence your reality. And that is super important because when there are experiences within you that have not been fully processed, when there are emotional wounds that are still present in your system, your inner world is not neutral. It becomes protective. So even your intuition is in that moment trying to protect you. Because your intuition is not only designed to guide you forward, it is also designed to keep you safe. So not only your nervous system and brain are here to keep you safe. I have already talked about it in one of my last podcast episodes. Um, Also, your intuition is here to protect you. So if you have experienced moments in your past where you felt unsafe, rejected, overwhelmed, or not good enough, like a failure, then your system remembers that. Even if your mind has moved on, and even if you are no longer consciously thinking about this traumatic life event, it is still saved in your system. And so when you stand at the edge of a change, when you are about to step into something new, your system asks a very simple question. Is this safe for me? And if there is an unresolved trauma inside of you, the answer is often no. This is not safe for me. Not because the opportunity itself is dangerous, no, but because it feels similar to something that once hurt you, something that was once traumatic for you. And your system is trying to make sure that you never have the same experience, the same pain again. So instead of moving forward, you stay where you are, in what is familiar to you, in what feels predictable, even if it no longer makes you happy, because, and that's very important, your safety is much more important for your system than your happiness. And this is how trauma can block your manifestation. It can block the life that you want to create for yourself. Not by removing the opportunities from your life, because the opportunities are showing up anyways, but by preventing you from stepping into them. For example, you don't see them. For example, a feeling comes up that holds you back stepping into it, or just by trying to distract you or by blocking you from the inside. Because manifestation is not just about receiving what you desire. It is about responding to what is being shown to you. It is about following the impulses, the signs, and the moments of alignment that guide you forward. And when your system is constantly trying to protect you from discomfort, you begin to avoid the very situations that would actually lead you to the life you want. This is why forcing yourself forward rarely works. Pushing harder, trying to override your fear, ignoring what you feel inside, trying more and more positive affirmation, meditating more hours a day, using more and more manifestation techniques. All of this creates, in fact, more tension instead of expansion and not more freedom. So the real shift begins when you stop fighting what's happening inside of you. And I know that maybe starts to sound boring to you because I think in every podcast episode I talk about this, but I tell you this because it's so important. When you turn toward inside of you instead of away from you, then something shifts. And that's where the real shift happens. And that is the fundament for you to even manifest the life you want. That is the fundament for everything. Like I've already mentioned, manifestation many times only scratches on the surface, but the real work happens inside. Because the fear and the feeling you feel is not random. Your hesitation is not a weakness, and your resistance is not a failure. It is just simply protection. And protection only exists where something has not yet been fully seen, felt, and integrated. So instead of asking, why can't I move forward? Why my life is like this? Why this always happens to me? Why nothing works for me? A more powerful question is this: what inside of me is trying to protect me right now? And the moment you begin to approach yourself with that level of awareness, something starts to soften. The pressure decreases, the resistance loosens, the energy begins to move again. And slowly your relationship with the unknown begins to change. It no longer feels like a threat, it begins to feel like expansion. And that's where you want to be. And this is why manifestation starts to flow in a completely different way, not from force and not from pressure, because manifestation cannot be pressured. You can't manifest harder. It has to come from a place of inner peace, inner calm, and safety. Because when your system no longer needs to hold you back, when there is no longer something inside of you that is trying to protect you from the next step, you naturally begin to move forward. And the life you desire, it's not somewhere far away anymore. It exists just beyond the edge of what currently feels safe. So it's already there. It's just you have to get over this little hill that makes you feel unsafe. You just have to hop over that, and then it's already there. It's super simple, and it doesn't have to take you hours of manifestation, hours of meditation, or years of therapy to process trauma. No, it can be super quick. It can be super simple to get where you want, and also to process a trauma, to free your intuition, to free your system again, in order to allow you to step into the uncertainty. Because the uncertainty is the place where the life exists that you desire. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to take a moment. Not to do more, not to fix anything, but simply to notice what moved inside of you. Growth does not start with doing, it starts with awareness. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. And if you feel called to, share it with another woman who is building or becoming. Because we don't need to hustle harder, we don't need to silence our emotions. We simply need to lead ourselves differently. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this work. And remember, the way you lead yourself determines what you build. I'll see you in the next episode.